This virus and antivirus software is also plays a very important role in network security involvement. In simple word, the network security means it is a precaution or preventive measures taken to protect the data. Here VPN is nothing but the virtual private network encryption. Hello, hi, namaste. A heartily welcome to my new session on first unit, and the unit name here is Introduction. I am Revati, faculty, Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, first grade college, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. In my today's session, at the beginning, I am going to deal with the definition. So what is definition here? That is, I'm going to give the definition about the topic, that is network security. Then I'm going to deal with security goals. That means what are the different kinds of security goals we are going to have when it is concerned with network security. Moving directly to the topic, that is definition. So what is computer network security? So here network security includes two words, network and security. In general, tell me what is network. So here network is nothing but the group of computers or any device, that means mobile devices are connected each other in order to share the resource as well as in order to communicate each other. That means here all the devices are interconnected to share the resources and communicate each other. Now we got the meaning for network. Now what is security? So here security is nothing but the precautions taken to prevent from the others or protecting ourselves from the others. That is itself called security. Now together it forms network security. That means here network security is nothing but the policy or procedure or particulars used to prevent the network accessible resource from the other user. So the network security is nothing but the rule, or it is nothing but the configuration of confidentiality, integrity and accessibility of the data. So in simple term, it is a set of rules, or it is a set of policy or procedure and configuration designed to protect the integrity. So what is integrity here? The integrity is mainly used to ensure that whatever the data which is received, that is identical. So that is itself called integrity. Then what is confidentiality? That means the data is kept confidential. That means to keep the data confidential, we are going to use different kinds of techniques. Some of the example here is encryption. Then it is accessibility of computer network and data using both software and hardware technology. So in very simple term, the network security is nothing but the set of rules or procedures or standards. It's mainly used to configure the design to protect the integrity of the data, confidentiality of the data, and accessibility of the data in the computer network, and it may be in the form of hardware or it may be in the form of software technology. So here the network security protects our network as well as data. That means we require network security to protect the network connection as well as the data which is present in the network. For those reasons, we required network security. So in very simple term, the network security is nothing but the preventive measures taken to protect the network assets from the unauthorized use. It is itself called network security. In simple word, the network security means it is a precaution or preventive measures taken to protect the data or misuse of data from the unauthorized access or unauthorized use or unauthorized modification. It is nothing but the protective or preservative measurement is taken to prevent or protect the network infrastructure. That is nothing but the network accessible resources. Let me to take a very small example here. Think that I'm going to use the email. Here, think that I'm going to use the Gmail account. So here, Gmail provides two-way authentication for my account. One is I can able to provide the security by using username and password. Another way, I'm going to get the OTP. That is two-way verification. That means I'm going to provide my mobile number and I'm going to receive the one-time password. Based on that, I can able to provide the security for my Gmail account. Then the another example I can able to consider here is WhatsApp chat. While chatting, whatever the chat we are going to perform, that provides end-to-end encryption. That means whatever the chatting is going to happen between two mobile devices, that is protected by using end-to-end encryption. Now, dear student, tell me why we required network security. So here we required network security to provide all network accessible assets. In the sense, most frequently we are going to use internet. So here internet plays a wide role in network security. That means most of the online shoppings are carried out because of the internet. Most of the online transactions are carried out due to the internet. So here network plays very important role in network security. Now consider the example that I'm going to purchase some mobile from the Amazon. So what are the steps I'm going to follow here? I'm going to order the mobile. At the same time, I'm going to place the payment. How the payments are carried out? So here I'm going to use the online transaction. That means I'm going to use credit card or debit card. Along with that, I'm going to provide the PIN information. Now I want to protect all this information from the intruder. What is intruder here? Here intruders are nothing but the attacker or hacker. Their job is to steal your personal information or personal data. How they are going to steal your personal data or personal information? What they will do? Frequently, they are going to observe the network traffic and network activity. Based on that, the hacker or the intruders are going to steal your personal data or personal information. To protect your personal data or sensitive data, we require network security. When we are going to have network security, then we are going to have encryption, then we are going to have decryption, then we are going to have digital signature, etc. So we required encryption, decryption, digital signature, etc. to provide the security for our sensitive data. Then now tell me some of the example for sensitive data. Here the example for sensitive data is your email ID or email password, or your bank details, or your employee details, or your employee number, or your health information. These are the sensitive information, and these kind of informations are most frequently stolen by the intruder. To provide the security for our sensitive data, we require network security. So here network security is nothing but the set of rules and configuration that is mainly designed to protect the integrity, confidentiality and accessibility of computer networks and data by using software as well as hardware technology. Moving further, we are going to have some other definition for network security. So here network security involves access control. So what is access control? That means we are going to provide the restriction to access the data. Then how I can able to provide the restriction to access the data? That is based on the your username and password. That means I'm going to restrict the unauthorized user to access the data. Then I'm going to have virus and antivirus software. That means I'm going to use the virus as well as antivirus software in order to protect the data. So this virus and antivirus software is also plays a very important role in network security involvement. That means here virus and antivirus softwares are going to block unwanted things from the network. Then I'm going to have the application security. What is application security here? That means whatever the application I'm going to use, I'm going to provide the password protection for the application. That is nothing but the application security. That means, for example, you can consider that you're going to use some particular software. Think that you're going to use some particular application software. After using that application software, what you're going to do? You're going to lock that application software. So that is nothing but the application security. That means whatever the application you're going to use, you're going to provide the security for those applications from the unauthorized access. Then once again, I'm going to have network analytics. That means we are going to use different kinds of network analytics to prevent from the network security. Then we are going to have different kinds of network related security. That means to provide network security, once again we are going to consider endpoint, website and wireless transaction. Then I'm going to have firewall. What is firewall? Here firewall is nothing but the gatekeeper. So it acts as an gatekeeper, and here firewalls may be a software or it may be a hardware, and it is going to block the unwanted things from the network. That means it is going to allow the certain data from the network, and it's going to block certain data from the network, and it acts as a gatekeeper. Then once again I'm going to have VPN encryption. So what is VPN encryption? So here VPN is nothing but the virtual private network encryption. These are the some of the techniques we are going to include in the network security. So here network security is nothing but the security measurement that includes access control, virus and antivirus software, application security, network analytics, along with that type of network which is related to security. It may be the end device or endpoint websites, or it may be wireless connection, along with that firewalls and virtual public network encryption. These are the certain points comes under network security involvement. Moving further, I'm going to have the security goals. That means why I want to provide the security for my data. So all information security measures try to address at least one of the three goals. So dear student, just remember that one I'm going to talk about security goals. We are going to have three different security goals, that is integrity, confidentiality and accessibility. So what is the first goal I'm going to have? That is protect the confidentiality of data. What I want to do here, I want to protect the confidentiality of the data from the other user. Then preserve the integrity of data. Dear student, what is my next goal? Here is promote the availability of data for authorized user. So I'm going to have three different goals here, that is promote the confidentiality of the data. That means we want to increase the confidentiality of the data. At the same time, we want to preserve the integrity of the data, and we want to provide or we want to promote the accessibility of the data for only the authorized user. These are the three security goals comes under network security. Moving further, we are going to have three kinds of network security goals, that is confidentiality, integrity and availability. So what is confidentiality here? So here confidentiality is nothing but the confidential. So dear student, in our daily life, we are going to use the word confidential. So what is confidential? That is kept secret from the others. That means other person or other people, they don't have any idea about that particular topic. That is, the particular topic is kept confidential. Similarly, in our network security, whatever the data or whatever the information we are going to have, that must be kept confidential from the unauthorized user or unauthorized access or from the intruder. So here Confidentiality is nothing but the keep the data confidential. Then what is integrity? Here integrity is nothing but the way used to ensure that whatever the data which is received by the receiver is same according to the sender. That means as the sender is going to send the data that is identical to the sent data and which is received by the receiver, that is integrity. That means without any alteration the data is received and whatever the data is received by the receiver is identical. Then once again I'm going to have the availability. So what is available? What is the meaning of availability? That means make the data or resource available to the user. When I'm going to say it is user, make sure that only the authorized user. That means whatever the data or whatever the network resource we are going to have, that must be kept available to the authorized user. To understand this topic more thoroughly, I can able to consider one small example, that is search engine. That is nothing but the Google search engine. Whatever the data we are going to search on the Google search engine and whatever the output we are going to receive, that is confidential. It provides integrity and it provides availability of the data. For the better understanding of security goals, I can able to consider the small example, that is Google search engine. Here, the Google search engine provides confidentiality of data, integrity of data, as well as availability of data. So here, the network security entails protecting the usability, reliability, integrity, and safety of network as well as data. That means here the network security provides the complete security or protection against the availability, then reliability, integrity, and safety of data as well as network resources. The primary goal of network security are confidentiality, then integrity and availability. That means when we are going to talk about network security, what are the things I want to remember here? That is confidentiality, integrity and availability. That means whatever the data I have, that must be kept confidential, and whatever the data I'm going to receive, that is identical to the sent data, and whatever the data I have, that must be accessed by the authorized user. So here the confidentiality, integrity and availability is called CA, that is CIA triangle. That means here the three aspects of network security, that is confidentiality, then accessibility and integrity, is together called CIA triangle. That is, these are the three pillars of network security and it is often represented by CIA triangle. Then I'm going to have the confidentiality. So what is confidentiality here? The confidentiality is roughly equivalent to privacy. So what is privacy? It is nothing but confidential. That means whatever the data or whatever the resource or whatever the information I have, I'm going to keep that data or information confidently. That means I'm going to keep all the things from privacy and avoids the unauthorized disclosure of information. That means I'm going to avoid the unauthorized disclosure of information from the unauthorized user. So I'm going to keep the data secure and private and privacy. So it is itself called confidentiality. It involves the protection of data, providing access for those who are allowed to see. That means only the authorized user can able to see the data. That means whatever the confidential data I have, only the authorized user can able to see those data, and the unauthorized user cannot able to see those confidential data. It preserves essential information from reaching the wrong person. That means in order to avoid the misuse of data. What is misuse of data? Here misuse of data is nothing but the reaching the wrong people or reaching the wrong hand. That means if the some other person, that is intruder, if he gets the information, then he can able to misuse the data or misuse the information. The best example you can able to consider your ATM or online transaction. So after online transaction, if the intruder gets information about your card as well as PIN, then the intruder may misuse your card as well as PIN for their financial benefit. So it prevents essential information from reaching the wrong people while making sure that the right people can get it. That means only the authorized or only the right people can able to use those data. So the best example for confidentiality is nothing but the data encryption. That means suppose if you want to provide the security for your data, then we can able to use the data encryption. So what is data encryption? Here data encryption is nothing but the masking your actual data, or you're going to convert your actual data into some other form so that the other person cannot able to read or decode that data. Some of the tools for confidentiality here is I'm going to have encryption. That means to provide the privacy for my data, I can able to use the technique or tool called encryption. So what is encryption then? Here encryption is nothing but the convert your actual data into some other form. Anyway, I'm going to explain encryption and how the encryption is going to take place in depth in my next session. Then I'm going to have access control. That means to provide the confidentiality or privacy for my data, I can able to use the access control. That means I can able to restrict the user by providing login as well as username and password. So by using login credential, I can able to restrict the unauthorized user. That is nothing but the access control. Then I can able to provide the authentication. That means based on the authentication, only the valid or the true user or the genuine user can able to view the data. So here it is authentication. To provide the authentication, once again I'm going to have username and password. Then authorization. I can able to provide the authorization for particular user. Based on that, I can able to provide the confidentiality of the data. Along with that, I can able to provide physical security. So what is physical security? Once again, I'm going to provide the physical security for my data. Suppose, consider the example that all the data are stored in the laptop. Then what I can able to do? I can able to provide the physical security for laptop. How I can able to provide physical security? Now how I can able to provide the physical security for my laptop? That means I can able to hide the laptop or I can carry wherever I go. So this is the way I can able to provide the physical security to my laptop. Then I'm going to have another security goals, that is integrity. So what is integrity here? Whatever the data which is received from the receiver is identical to the sent data. For example, consider that A sends the data, that is hello, and here B is going to receive the data hello. So here both the datas are identical each other. That is nothing but the integrity of data. So the goal means maintaining and assuring the accuracy and consistency of data. So what is the goal of the integrity here? That is nothing but the maintaining and assuring the accuracy. Accuracy means what? Accurate data and consistency of the data. The functions of integrity is make sure that the data is reliable and it is not changed by the unauthorized person. So why I required integrity here? In order to make sure that whatever the data I received, that is identical and which is not monitored or which is not altered by the unauthorized user or unauthorized person. Here, integrity refers to the methods for ensuring that data is real, accurate, and safeguarded from unauthorized user modification. So here integrity is required in order to ensure that whatever the data we received, that is real and it is accurate and it is identical and it is safeguarded from the unauthorized user modification. It is the property that information has to be altered in an unauthorized way and that source of information is genuine. That means in network security, we are going to use integrity in order to ensure that this is the property of information and whatever the data or information we are going to have, that is not altered by the unauthorized user and whatever the data we received, that is genuine. For these reasons, we required integrity. So here integrity provides or integrity ensures that whatever the data the user is going to receive, that is accurate, consistency, real, and it is safeguarded from the unauthorized user. Then the next tool I'm going to have checksum. So what is checksum? Here checksum is used to provide the integrity of data. That means in the sender side I'm going to have the checksum. That means along with the data I'm going to send the checksum. In the receiver side, once again I have data and checksum and I'm going to calculate the checksum. After calculating, what I will do, I'm going to compare the received data with the sent data. If both are same, then it indicates that the data is real and data is accurate and there is no modification of data, and that is ensured by the integrity of data. Moving further, I'm going to have the availability. So what is availability? So make sure that the data is available to the user. The function of availability in network security is to make sure that the data as well as network resources and services are continuously available to the legitimate. So what is legitimate? That is the authorized user whenever they required it. So the best example for availability of data I can consider Google search engine. So here Google search engine provides the data based on the user requirement. So the main functionality of availability in network security, that is make sure that all the data, network resources as well as services available to the authorized user whenever, wherever they required. Then the availability is the property in which information is accessible and modifiable in a timely function by those authorized to do so. That means in availability, the authorized user can able to modify the data or alter the data, and they can accessible the data based on the user requirement. Here users are nothing but the authorized user or legitimate user. It is the guarantee of reliable and constant access to our sensitive data by the authorized people. That means here the data availability in the network security ensures that the authorized user can constantly access the data or constantly they can able to alter or modify the data. Then which tool is used to ensure the availability of data in the network security? That is physical protection. That means the user or the authorized user or the legitimate users are responsible for protecting their data or network resources as well as service. Then we are going to have computational redundancy. These are the two tools we can able to use to provide the availability of data. So dear student, in my today's session, I started with what is data security and what is integrity, what is confidentiality, and what is accessibility. At the same time, we discussed some of the security goals, that is nothing but the CIA triangle. These are the three pillars of network security. What are the three different pillars of network security? That is confidentiality, integrity, and accessibility. In my next session, I'm going to deal with different kinds of attacks comes under network security. Until then, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.